Well, we're picking up right where we left off, stuck behind trucks. We're on our way down to Milwaukee Intermodal Station today, where we're going to go down to the Windy City. We're going to ride a train, so we're going to make good time. Aboard Amtrak's Hiawatha, we're going to ride some electric line down there. We're going to check out the Museum of Science and Industry, and we'll throw in a bunch more surprises for you on episode 14. So come along. Yes, Drew Halverson, a reservation for the 8 o'clock. All right, thank you. Here we are in Chicago's Union Station. We're going to take a look around. And we're going to hop on the electric line and head over to the Museum of Science and Industry. Here we are in Chicago's Union Station with Chicago's Media Relations spokesman, Mark Magliari. Mark, thanks for taking a minute today.
Welcome to our station. It really is a glorious place.
It is.
Where we're standing is, of course, the Great Hall. And people who have only been through here the last 10 or 15 years don't know this. But remember, in World War II, one of the things that happened at train stations all across the country was skylights were painted out black to make the stations less of a target for the Axis powers bombers to come over and get us. So this skylight above us was blacked out from roughly World War II to the 90s. So you can imagine how dark this station was.
I seem to remember that because I was here as a kid, and I seem to remember it being darker now that you mentioned it.
Oh, it's much brighter now. Now, the two statues that are above us, looking down us here in the Great Hall, each of those statues is holding a bird of some kind.
Owl and, what do we got, a goose?
Nope.
No.
No one gets that one right. That's a rooster.
Oh, okay.
So why are the statues holding an owl and a rooster, do you think?
Times of day?
That's exactly right, because trains run around the clock.
Yeah, okay.
See, these are people who know about railroads at Model Railroading in Kalmbach.
Well, there you go. You learned something, I learned something. It's an owl, it's a rooster. You know, this is a tough job that I do for Model Railroader Video Plus. I had to leave the office today and come out here with Ben, check out Chicago and ride some trains. I guess it could be a little worse. It could be one of those guys. Here we are in Chicago, Illinois at Cloud Gate. what I like to call the big chrome beam. And we're about to head over to Millennium Station, hop on the electric line, and go check out the Museum of Science and Industry. Here we are, Millennium Station. Let's go get on the train. to University Park. What's that? All the way down? No, we're gonna get off at 56, 57. Here it is, Metra's electric line. Millennium Park Station. We're about to get off real soon.
How we doing, guys?
Pretty good. Thanks. All right, this is how easy it is. Take a train down to Chicago from Milwaukee, quick cab ride or a longer walk, hop on the electric line, and another couple blocks, you're here at the Museum of Science and Industry, where I hear there's a pretty cool train layout. Let's go see if that's true. I'm with John, who helped design what you see behind us. It's called the Great Train Story. It's an amazing layout. Follows BNSF from Seattle to Chicago, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So this exhibit's been around since 2002, so it's going strong for over 11 years now.
So now, I heard you helped build this thing, designed it. What kind of research did you do for it?
We began by taking a trip around the country on Amtrak. So the whole reason for that trip was to research the most interesting and relevant areas of the railroad and the historical connections between Chicago and Seattle. First of all, a little bit about the design of Chicago here. We had to be selective with what buildings we're showing in downtown Chicago. So we selected the Michigan Avenue street front here, along with everything between the Sears Tower, or the Willis Tower as it's now called, all the way to the main branch of the Chicago River. But we really wanted the visitor to get that impression right when they walk up to it that, hey, here we are in downtown Chicago. Also, a really important thing in downtown Chicago is the L train, the Chicago Transit Authority's L. So it goes around in a little loop. It's called the Loop for a reason, and that's because the train goes in a rectangular loop downtown before it spokes out in different directions to the neighborhoods. But we've got the President's Motorcade on here. That was a recent addition, actually from 2008. And there's an incredible Hulk walking around the layout, and he moves around. So we have a little bit of commuter rail here. We've got the Metra commuter train. Every facet of modern railroading, from passenger commuting, local transit, freight, intermodal, raw materials, Amtrak passenger trains. We try to cover that whole spectrum. So right here we're in the Northern Plains. So anywhere between Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Iowa. So we've got an ethanol plant off in the distance there. You can see the silo and the tanks. So that was a new thing back in like 2005, 2006 with the renewable fuel standard. We added a lot of interactivity to the layout. So we've got push buttons all around the layout that make various things happen. Everything from blasting a tunnel in the Rockies to harvesting lumber in the Cascades.
So let's do some blasting.
The waterfall that you see behind you here is called Last Chance Falls, and it's got some scenery of canoeists and kayakers who are really having their last chance at survival if you look closely at the top of the waterfall. So there's a person way up there that's trying to navigate the rough waters of Last Chance Falls, and this is all patterned after the Rockies in Montana.
John, we're wrapping up our cross-country tour, the Great Train Story. We're here in Seattle, Washington. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, Seattle's the Emerald City, that they like to call it there. and it made a really good destination for our exhibit. It's got a great history as a seaport and international shipping port, not to mention the history of James J. Hill, the empire builder for which the Amtrak train is named.
There you have it, the great train story. John, thanks a lot for the tour. Thanks so much for your time. This is amazing. I'm sure everyone's going to love it. I know I did. Here we are in front of the Zephyr. Probably the only thing shinier than the big shiny bean in Chicago. This actually is kind of what MR is basing their Red Oak project layout after. The CB&Q, it's the Zephyr, although not this exact engine. This one's pretty cool. Here we are walking through the general seating portion of the Zephyr, where people like me and Cody Grivno might sit back in the day. Here we are in the smoking car, where people smoked, believe it or not. And as you'll see, these little slots here in the wall are for trays, food trays. These were in most of the cars. So if you wanted to eat, the Zephyrettes would come out, bring a tray of food, and you'd be able to enjoy a good meal while rocking back and forth. Here's your kitchen aboard the Zephyr. Stainless steel, like everything else. This is all the refrigeration compartments where they first used Freon technology to keep food cool, to run the air conditioning, things like that. It was kind of a thing for its time back in the day. Here we are in the mail parcel car, where they stored mail and parcels and spare couplers. Outside Chicago's Museum of Science and Industry, it's actually a pretty nice day out here. And we had a great visit with the staff of the museum. We saw the Zephyr, saw the awesome layout that they have. We're gonna head back to Union Station now and begin our trip back to the office.